Sand and Fog decided to do a 25% off sale on select items on their site. Yes, around the Mother's Day time, they decided to do a 25% off sale on select items on some of their sets, gift sets, some of their perfumes, some of their oils, and I had to dive in. I've been holding off on buying anything from the site itself because it was cheaper to find those items at TJ Maxx. You know, you can get them for $16.99 for one of those droppers, perfume droppers. And on site, they're $25. So it's like $16.99, $25, you know. It was like, let's wait until a sale comes to the site and see what the offering is. So 25% off made these items right around the $15 mark, which is under the pricing that you would have got them for if you was to find them hunting for them in the TJ Maxx. So I have quite a few items to share with you. I also did do another order, which I will share with you in a future haul once those items come in. What they just had for this, Memorial Day weekend, they did another sale, but they had it for the whole store. I did post that on my community tab. So if you want to see what items I picked up during this first sale, because this was my first order with Sand and Fog. Yes, first order. So I also was able to use an additional 10% off my order since it was my first time ordering from the company. So if you want to see what items I picked up during this sale, then just stay tuned. Hello, my butterfly beauties, and welcome if you are new. My name is Charlene, and on this channel, we discuss everything beauty, fragrance, and lifestyle. So if you like my style, why don't you subscribe and you stay a while? So what did I pick up? One of the things I did pick up that was not on sale, but I had told you guys that I loved it so much that when I do order from the site, I was going to be picking this up, and that is their body wash that called Vanilla and Sandalwood. This one here smells so good and layers as a base for so many things in my collection. Sandalwood is one of those notes that's normally in a base of a perfume, and vanilla, of course, you'll see that in a lot of perfumes as well. So this one here as a base for your perfume or fragrance layering is awesome. I love the scent of this. We both love this one. Went through it quite quickly, and I originally picked this up in a TJ Maxx. So whenever I looked on the site and they had it on the site, because I never did find it again in TJ Maxx, I just like saved it as a favorite because I knew I was going to be picking this up. So did get my backup. Well, I did get my replacement because I already finished the other one of the Vanilla and Sandalwood. This is their body wash / shower gel. Now, what items did I get on sale? The first thing I got was one of their 100 mils of this Enchanted Blossom is what they call it. Their 100 mils come like this. It has a wooden top to it, but these are roller balls. It's not the droppers. These are the roller balls. And this one here, Enchanted Blossom, is inspired by Gucci Floral Gorgeous Gardenia. So the notes for this one is top notes of mandarin pear and green leaves, mid notes of gardenia, white flowers, lily, and jasmine, and base of patchouli, musk, vanilla, and amber. So this one is the Gucci Floral Gardenia one. Smells beautiful. So got this in the 100 mil. And then I picked up this one called Champagne Dreams. Now, I've noticed something about the site that I'm going to share with you in a minute. This is also 100 mil. And this one is inspired by Marc Jacobs Daisy Love Oh So Sweet. I have that fragrance. Also have another oil in that fragrance in a smaller thing. But this one has notes of blackcurrant, orange, pepper, and strawberry, lychee, rose, jasmine, and violet, vanilla, musk, tonka, and amber. And what I noticed about this scent is that when I went to go look this up as Champagne Dreams, it doesn't pull it up. And then when you go back and look at it, they have it listed under the name Bloom. And under the description of it, it says also known as Pop the Bubbly and Champagne Dreams. So Sand and Fall, and this is not the only time I ran across this, Sand and Fall. So I'm sharing this with you in case you're not catching it, because if you're not reading the full description, you're not going to catch this. But they re-release some of their oils under different names. So this one is the Marc Jacobs Love, Daisy Love Oh So Sweet Inspiration, but they also have had it under Champagne Dreams, which is this one. They've also have had it under the name Pop the Bubbly. And currently on the site, to find this one now, is under the name Bloom. Yes, under the name Bloom. So if you see Bloom on here, you have Champagne Dreams, you ran out of Champagne Dreams, or you ran out of Pop the Bubbly, and you're looking for the replacement, it's called Bloom now. So just keep that in mind whenever you're doing your shopping, because after you start looking at so many, some of them may look the same or whatever have you, and you may end up repurchasing something you already have in your collection because you're thinking it's a different scent and it's all the same. So just keep that in mind. Champagne Dreams, Bloom, Pop the Bubbly, all the same fragrance. Another one that I ran across in that same situation, and by the way, let me talk about the packaging real quick, because this one came like this. It had with the plastic around here, so let me take that off real quick. But the whole thing came in this box, and they had a lot of bubble wrapped around these bigger ones. Like, they didn't have this plastic around it like this does, but it had a bunch of this. And and these were wrapped as well in the bubble wrap. So they try to make sure it does get to you securely. And I like to comment on that, especially when I'm ordering from the brand for the first time, because that helps me to know how well they're packaging and shipping their products. But Girl Crush looks like this. This is another one that is a rollerball. I enjoy the rollerballs, you guys, especially for oils, because it helps me to not be so messy with them. I put them exactly where I need them to go, and they're not gonna, be too messy. But Girl Crush is another one. That this is not the only name that it goes by. This one also goes by the name of Lychee Dream. So if you see Lychee Dream, which they still do have on the site, and then you see Girl Crush and you're thinking they're two separate things, they're the same. They're both Kayali Eating Sparkling Lychee Inspirations. And this has pineapple, cherry, apple, orange, and lemon in the top, lychee, cinnamon, strawberry, milk, elemi in the mid, and amber, powdery, vanilla, sandalwood, tonka, and cedarwood. So this is your Eating Sparkling Lychee Inspiration. And yes, it is. Smells gorgeous. So Girl Crush, also known as Lychee Dream, was added to the collection. Smells delicious. The other one I picked up was one of the droppers in the perfume dropper. And this one is Aperol Spritz. This is another one. Different names, you guys. So make sure you keep an eye on that. I keep mentioning it because I ran across it several times, and especially when you're trying to do that order for this last sale, I was finding myself like, wait a minute, is that the same thing as this? And realize, yep. So I had to kind of redo my order, the stuff I had in my cart, because I didn't want to be getting the same stuff, duplicates of the same things, just with the different names. But this is it without the stuff all over it. All right, so Aperol Spritz. And so this one here is also known as, because they put it in the small print under the description, we renamed her. Depending on the time of your order, you may also receive Aperol Spritz, which was this one, or Italian Spritz. Same great fresh fragrance, just freshly new name. So they got it as Aperol Spritz, and they're showing Aperol Spritz here, but when you try to look it up, it's only under Spritz. And like I said, it is also known as Italian Spritz. So this one is the Maison Margiela's Never Ending Summer Inspiration. And it has top notes of bitter orange, ginger, and pepper, mid notes of tea, cardamom, and nutmeg, and base of vetiver, cedarwood, and cashmere. Never Ending Summer by Maison Margiela has been a scent that I've been interested in for a while. Just never picked her up. So let's see what this is giving. I was almost on the fence on getting it because it's very spicy. And what I remember, the reason why I really wanted to pick this up is because of that tea note. And I was curious. How the tea and the spices was going to do together. This is smelling very interesting for sure. That tea in there smells very good. I'm getting spices. I'm getting some citruses. I know I'm going to enjoy this one quite a bit. So this is my citrusy tea type fragrance with some kick. I'm enjoying this quite a bit. So this is the Aperol Spritz, aka Spritz or Italian Spritz. So glad I got her. And during this particular sale, they only had select items on sale. So it wasn't like it was their whole catalog of things that you can get on sale. It was just whatever, I guess they selected certain items and put it on sale. So I was able only to look at, the only thing that I got that wasn't on sale was this. But then I did get 10% off of it because I still got 10% off my order. So I digress. Let's move on to the other items that I picked up. The rest of the items I picked up was sets. So let's go over the different exploratory sets is what they call them. This is this discovery set that has white vanilla, jasmine and cedarwood, and violet sandalwood. They called this one on here their sweet and sexy collection. And then the other one that I picked up was this one. Has pistachio dream and violet sandalwood. And they called this one their day to night collection here. And then their next one has bloom and white vanilla. This was their sweet spring collection. And this is the one that I was telling you guys, bloom is that same name. And then they have this one here that they called their Candy Heart collection that has berries and cream, white vanilla, and lemon sugar. All right, so let's go over some of these notes that's in these. So first we have berries and cream. And that one is inspired by Melanie Martinez Crybaby. And that one has strawberry, lemon, bubblegum, mulberries, milk, dry fruits, caramel, vanilla, sugar, and tonka. Then lemon sugar that's over here is inspired by Kayali's Capri in a bottle. And this one has notes of lemon, bergamot, raspberry freesia, powdery notes, vanilla, sugar, musk, and benzoin. And then we have the one that's in the middle, which is white vanilla, which is in the other discovery set as well. And this one isn't inspired by anything. This has notes of orange, mid of vanilla powder and butter, and base of vanilla sugar. So this is just one of their own creations. Then we have in this set Pistachio Dream, which is Kayali Yum Pistachio Gelato number 33, which has pistachio, nut, almond, marshmallow, sugar, and rum. And then it has vanilla, brown sugar, and cream. And then it has violet sandalwood in here, which is also in that other one as well. And this is the Barredo Mojave Ghost Inspiration. Now, violet sandalwood, when you look at that one as well, it says also known as Pillow Talk. So violet sandalwood, if you've had Pillow Talk from them, it's the same fragrance. So just keep that in mind. So violet sandalwood is, I got it here, and then I have it in that other set. But this is that Mojave Ghost, Barredo Mojave Ghost Inspiration that has the sapodilla and bergamot in the top, magnolia and violet in the mid, and ambrette, cedarwood, and musk in the base. So that is in that set. And then in this bigger set here, we got white vanilla and violet sandalwood that we've already went over, but then there's jasmine and cedarwood in here. And this is that Mason Francis Curtijon Baccarat Rouge 540 inspiration. And they also say this one is also called I Do and Hot Date. So if you ever see I Do or Hot Date, it's also called jasmine and cedarwood. And this one has top notes of saffron and lemon, mid of jasmine and pine, and base of cedarwood, amber, and musk. That is what this one is. So that is everything that I decided to pick up during that particular sale that was of interest to me, that I thought would be great additions to my collection. And like I said, stay tuned to further thoughts after I've completed wear tests on some of these. You already know I've loved several of the perfume oils I've tried from the brand. They got great projection, great longevity, and I love the way they sink into the skin. So for the prices of these, like these were $25. Let's see here. So say for example, this Champagne Dream, and these were 25 bucks for these 100 mils, not the 50 mils. These 100 mils was 25 bucks, but then you got the additional sale off, so it brought them down to $18.75. Plus, I was able to get them 10% off of that. So that was good savings for these. And then these other ones came out from 20. They had them on sale for 20, but then they, with the additional sale, they were $15 plus the 10% off. And then these the other sets, they put on sale for $20, but then you could get them the additional percentage off, 25% off. So then they came down to $15. So great steal during that sale. And so I was happy that I was able to pick those up. Like I said, stay tuned. I'll be sure to go over more information as I wear these. But my takeaway from this brand so far, packaging, top notch. Everything shipped to me fine and was well packaged. I already know I love several of the fragrances I've tried from them. Definitely take advantage of the sales and even these discovery sets like I did in this situation. But my cautionary tale through all of this is make sure you're paying attention to the names. Like go in with a plan, like with scents that you're wanting, and make sure you're not duplicating scents just with the same names. That's my takeaway from so far with my 2 orders I've done with the brand, because I may have still accidentally ended up with some duplicates, not paying attention. But I think I did good by, you know, noticing that right away and then adjusting accordingly. But I know that that's something that could catch some people if you're not careful. So just make sure you're paying attention to that description of the fragrance that you love. Don't just look at the top of it where it tells you who it's inspired by and then skip down to the fragrances information and look what the scent notes are. Make sure you look at that bottom of that description where it tells you if it has any additional information, like the fact that they renamed it and it used to be under these other names. Thank you guys so much for watching. What did you pick up during the sales? Drop it down below in the comments. I love to know, do you have any favorites from Satin and Fall that you've tried, that you love? Let me know. I would love to know that. Give me a big thumbs up before you go. Hype the video if you enjoy content like this. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.